Brad, where are you? You outside?
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? Nick the Comic Nerd here with the Comic Viking, Alan Rue, Southpaw Brad, and Brian LCS here to talk about our Week 12 recap of the Comic Book Community Fantasy Football League. So, real quick, we'll say hi to the chat. Chris, the Comic Vet, is probably watching his Bills right now against the Pats. But we'll get into what's going on. How you guys doing?
Not good. I'm out of the playoffs. So
Were you eliminated?
Everybody else's day.
Were you eliminated from the playoffs officially or no?
Yeah.
Oh, that means I'm 100% out then, being 3-1. Oh, good. Yeah, who was? Oh, Cole gave me a butt whooping last week. I was actually kind of disappointed because at one point my projection went above his, and I was like, "Ooh, maybe I stand a chance today," but I guess not. So
that's what happens when you trade Tyreek Hill.
All right, you're not wrong. You know what's funny? I have a friend who has Hill and Waddle in a league, and he's like 11-1, and I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I never thought to share receivers, but," and I was like, "I don't know, I just didn't have faith in it." So, but it is what it is. Well, Brad, what about you? Are you still in a playoff spot?
I'm in first place.
He's tied for first place with Beckerman.
He jumped in front. Okay. Wow, Beckerman jumped all the way up too.
These next 2 weeks are going to be crucial.
Yeah, especially
I got to win out. I'm 2 games back with two to play, so I got to win out and hope something else happens with either Cole or Trev. So,
and we play this week, Brian. So that'll be
yes.
Oh wow, getting interesting.
And Beckerman is playing Cardboard Crazies, I think.
Okay,
so he's got his bye week.
Yeah, he's got a bye victory week.
Right.
All right. Crazy, but sometimes it's the way it goes, you know. I mean, teams against me are a bye week, you know. I mean, I should be 4-8, but I was hoping for a little bit better. Look at him showing off and rubbing it in.
Oh, I'm in the playoffs.
You're in the hunt for sure.
You know what's crazy is, you know who's not in the playoffs? The team that everybody thought was just going to run roughshod. And that'd be the Chris the Comic Vet. It's amazing how his team is.
Oh, he got bumped?
Oh, no. Yeah. You know why? Because of ties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the ties have come into play here.
Played a factor.
Wild.
Which is crazy.
A lot can happen the next 2 weeks. It's going to be really
true.
Critical.
I mean, he's only half a game back. So, and like Brian is playing Brad, and well, they both have to win to get in. So
wild.
Well, I'm hoping Brian doesn't have Josh Jacobs hit 47 again this week.
So good.
45 or whatever he had. That was insane.
That it was, right?
Yeah, I mean,
unbelievable.
He was having a great day, and then he had what, like an 80-yard touchdown in overtime. So
yes,
crazy. 2 seconds, and then we'll get into next week.
Declaring yourself the winner. I am the winner. See this? This is my prize. I won.
Nice. Did you do an unboxing of that? I just watched the video from Joe.
Yeah, I did. It'll drop tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
I just can't stop holding it.
Did you slice any pineapples with it?
No.
Not yet.
No, I don't want to hit anything with it.
Is it sharp?
It's pretty sharp. I mean, I can't shave myself or anything, but I mean, it's sharp. I mean, I could make it do some damage if I needed to, but it's yeah.
Joe showed in his video he was chopping up some pineapples with it.
Yeah, he did.
And he was slicing through them.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. All right. Let's see who else chatted. What about you, Alan, declaring yourself? He's got the axe, man. What else is he supposed to do? He's got the axe.
What the fuck was that? I'm sorry. I'm watching the football game.
I've got it.
Sorry. Brad probably saw it.
Yeah.
This is one of the more interesting games on a Thursday night, I would say, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, I mean, when was the last time we had a decent game to watch during this?
Yeah, I mean, division game, right? You never know what's going to happen. Yeah, I got the game.
There you go. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to dive into some of last week's matchups, you guys. And then at the end, we'll go over the standings and who's versus who coming up this week. So let me share my screen.
What's up,
Brian, don't you have Diggs?
I do.
He does.
Oh, yeah. He just caught another one.
D-man. All right, so here are last week's matchups. I played Cole. Trev played Allen. Zach and Tylox tied. Brad beat up on Bearded. Beckerman beat up Roscoe. Brian did damage against Chris the Comic Vet. And Will from Cup of Comics beat up on Cardboard Crazies. So we'll dive into these matchups. We'll go to mine first. Few good things not with my team. I really can't say many good things about my team, to be honest. I think that and I'm sorry to say this, Alan, I think that the Jacksonville-Baltimore game was the game of the week. When I went to sleep that night, when I went to work that day, I did not expect to see the final score of 28-27 Jacksonville. But
well, that's what happens when you go 2 for 5 in the red zone.
Is that what it was?
And you kick 3 freaking field goals. Yeah.
Wow.
And you give your ball to your lead back, and he fumbles inside the opponent's 20-yard line.
Jesus. It's wild.
Or your own. I'm sorry. He fumbled inside the Baltimore 20-yard line. My bad.
Wow. Crazy.
So,
not much to look at on my team. Adam Thielen had a decent game on Thanksgiving. What a win for the Vikings. I did not expect them to come back the way they did, but hey. Other than that, really, it's just Trev Lawrence for me with the comeback to win by 1. They went for the 2-point conversion, Jacksonville, to win that game, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. What was it? Did they throw it or run it? Yeah, what was the play? I need to see. They did.
Threw it.
Okay.
To Zay Jones. Zay Jones lit Baltimore secondary up.
Wow. Crazy. And then over here you have Cole's team. Austin Eckler, just the star of Los Angeles with Justin Herbert, with everybody still out. Mike Williams is supposed to return this week, I think. I have him on my starting roster. So
Eckler's number two fantasy running back.
Wow. Who's number 1? Not Jonathan Taylor.
No.
Derrick Henry?
Might be Henry.
It's not Henry. I know. I have him.
Not Jonathan
Taylor. Yeah. No.
I'm taking a look now.
I was going to say, Brian usually knows how to look. CD Lamb had another great game, 17 points on Thanksgiving to beat up the Giants. What a poor performance by the Giants. They just showed up weak. And once they went behind, it's like Daniel Jones just went into his shutdown mode, which was pitiful to see, but it is what it is. The Dolphins defense beat up on Houston a lot. And Houston made their quarterback change this week.
Yeah, Eckler's 1, Jacobs is 2, and Henry's 3.
Wow. Crazy. Dive into some points on the bench. Guys, what am I doing holding Melvin Gordon? Is he going to get signed before the season ends?
No.
He did.
Well, he did, but
he's on the practice squad for the Chiefs.
Oh.
I wouldn't hold my breath for that. I would probably dump him.
Yeah,
that's
I'm going to have to. Yeah,
well, and you have to look at it as our season versus the actual football season, because we only have 2 games left, so it won't matter if he's
right.
Especially for my team. Yeah, no, you're right. That makes sense too.
But then the flip side is who do you replace? There's not another running back out there.
I mean, no, exactly. It's tough. Like this week, I dropped Zach Wilson. I don't remember what my new roster now looks like. I dropped Zach Wilson. I dropped Noah Fant. Who did I pick up? I'll tell you right now. I picked up 2 players I actually liked too, which I guess I wasn't expecting to do because I didn't know who was going to be on the roster there. Let's see. I picked up Mac Jones and Chris Davis on the Jets. So
we got a question about a fantasy pickup.
That's it. Picked up Brian Robinson Jr. and Zay Jones for flex depth. Can I get some analysis on these 2?
Well,
start Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Start. He's a beast. And everybody else is finding out what happened when he did with Alabama. He's a monster, and I think they're going to continue to feed him more than Antonio Gibson.
Well, and it says something about him coming back like he did from a gunshot wound. I mean, and what was it? 4 weeks later, he's back. It's unreal.
Wide receivers are Lamb, Olave, A.J. Brown, and Pickens. All good. I have a good crew, but nobody in my 12-team league wants to trade. That kind of sucks about the trading, to be honest. It's one of those things where, like, your waiver wire, which is how it sounds like you might have ended up with Zay Jones and Brian Robinson. But I agree with the Brian Robinson thing, especially because I have Antonio Gibson on one league, and he did not get a lot of touches, and I was kind of confused. I actually expected him to play a little bit heavier than he did. So
it's now 2 games in a row that Brian Robinson has out-touched Antonio Gibson.
yeah. And it's crazy because Antonio Gibson had a good start.
He did. He had a really good start to the season. And I just think, yeah. And with Beckerman's statement about Zay Jones, I would almost say start him too because they're playing Detroit. Detroit's going to put up points. Detroit is going to score points. They scored points against Buffalo. They're going to score points.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cole's team had a few points on the bench. Taylor Heineke, which is a good pickup. I mean, the guy came in and, he's like Nick Foles for Carson Wentz right now. I mean, he's just making the team stronger, which is wild. And Marvin Jones Jr. had 11 points, but you don't switch those players out for guys like CeeDee Lamb and Mike Evans. So Tony Pollard actually got outscored by Ezekiel Elliott. When was the last time we saw that in fantasy football?
Well, that's going to continue to happen.
You think so?
Well, he had that one breakout week, but Zeke was kind of not really strung that time. But Zeke doesn't catch the ball as much out of the backfield anymore. It's all Tony Pollard.
True.
But I think that Dallas is like, hey, let's hand the ball to Zeke. He's starting to play better. And I think he's actually healed up now, too.
Yeah, Zeke had a pretty good game against the Giants.
Yeah, he played very well. He was back to his just feed me the ball for 3 yards thing, and it just worked,
Yeah.
They just couldn't shut it down. So it sucks to see, but
Nobody likes the Cowboys. Except for my girlfriend.
America's team my ass.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, into your matchup, Alan. We have Trev the Shipping Guru. Plus 18 over Alan Rue the Comic Viking. Patrick Mahomes, underscores Lamar Jackson. That was a weird game. I felt that the Chiefs could have scored 42 points this game and just didn't.
The Rams still have a good defense, man.
Yeah, true. That's fair. But I don't know. I guess I was just expecting more. I don't know why. Who else you got? Saquon put up a touchdown on Thanksgiving, which was nice, but no turkey leg for him. AJ Brown did his thing. DeAndre Hopkins had a good game. This was Kyler Murray's first game back, right?
He'd missed 2 games.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This was his first one back.
And now they got a bye week. So,
right.
Yeah. Dalton Schultz scored on the Giants on Thanksgiving. A.J. Dillon putting up 17. A.J. Dillon is one of those players that I always see high in the draft. And I always tell myself, don't draft him because he's not going to outscore Aaron Jones. And this week, I don't think he did, but I know he came close. So
that game, I hated that game because that's what he obviously beat me. The scoring in that game just went crazy.
Yeah.
And Dalton Schultz catching 2 touchdowns. Are you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Yeah. Never going to happen again. Just one of those things. Dalton Schultz, I feel like, was one of those tight ends that everybody expected to play pretty well this year for Dallas. Because when you look at tight ends, outside of Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, everybody else is just tier 2 and below. It gets kind of wild, so you just don't know what to expect. But, once in a blue moon, they have a big week.
Kelce has distanced himself from the pack. I mean, it's crazy.
How many multiple touchdown games has Kelce had already this year?
Right.
He's gonna set the record for touchdowns by a tight end, obviously.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's just on another planet.
Yeah. Crazy. Lamar Jackson, 22 points. Derrick Henry, 13 points. That was a good game, the Cincinnati versus Tennessee game. I enjoyed that game a lot. A good defensive game. No, it wasn't.
Because the turd fumbled at the 3-yard line on a screen pass.
I didn't know that.
He took 60+ yards. That was 6 points right there.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, be thankful it's not the difference in scoring, but it still sucks. Amari Cooper, another great week. Amari Cooper's been playing so good. And this week, Deshaun Watson is getting his start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
So
you guys thinking
has a quarterback to throw him the ball?
I was gonna say, yeah, you think it's gonna be a good week or a bad week? Who is Cleveland playing? Do you guys know off the top of your
Houston.
Oh, hometown, his old place. Damn. I didn't know it was the old team.
The NFL did not plan that at all.
Yeah, right. Wow. I was not expecting to hear that. Outside of that, a couple points. Gus Edwards. I had Kenyon Drake who put up 0. I don't know if he played at all, to be honest.
He got 2 carries for 2 yards and missed and did not haul in his only target.
Wow.
The Baltimore backfield is a shell of what it used to be.
Mhm.
It used to be they had a 3-headed monster,
Yeah.
and now they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. They say it's Ronnie Stanley because Ronnie Stanley's hurt, but no. I'm gonna say it's just a lot. They lost a lineman last year when what's his name retired, and it's I don't know what's going on with that team. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I don't know if they think that because Lamar's trying to get all that money that he is going to save them every game.
Right.
Not.
Right.
So,
Nick, check Brian's question right above the one you have highlighted right now.
Let's see. Any advice in running back 2 picks? I have Jamal Williams, James Conner, and Ricky Mostert. Usually I play one and the other 2 outperform. I would just stick with Jamal Williams, man. He's been the goal line guy for Detroit, right?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Connor's on bye.
He has been.
So.
Connor's on bye. He definitely Mostert is losing his position to Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
That's done.
Yeah.
And but Jamal Williams, like what Nick said, he's a pretty much goal line monster.
It's wild because Swift was like projected to go in like the 2nd round in some leagues. Some leagues he went in the 1st round, and it just isn't happening. So, and here's the thug of them all. But showing you guys Brian Robinson Jr., Brian, just to show you what we think. I mean, Allen had him sitting on the bench with 20 points. I mean, I wouldn't have started him over Derrick Henry and Jeff Wilson Jr. or Gus Edwards, to be honest. But I mean, there you have it. 20 points last week.
You might could have put him in the flex though. That would have been a
it would have been a
start over him
11.
This week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I messed up.
I'd pick him up, Brian. I'd definitely pick him up.
Yeah, honestly, it makes sense.
He's on waiver in your league. Actually, I mean he's a good back.
I agree.
I think I'd pick him up and plug him in somewhere.
Did you guys see the news about the Broncos and Russell Wilson's birthday?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad. So Sierra tweeted or something that she threw Russell Wilson a birthday party and only half the team showed up. The whole team was invited and only about half of them showed up. So,
oh, jeez.
Let's ride. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm a bad example. I have never been a Russell Wilson fan. Never will be. I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. But for me, like, this is kind of just like the icing on the cake. But at the same time, look at where the Broncos are. Like, there is a problem, and you're a part of it, you know? Do all the high knees you want on the plane. Not going to change the outcome of the game, dude.
Well, you look at them on paper, too. There's so many weapons there. It doesn't make sense.
And
then you look at the reverse, the year Geno Smith's having in Seattle.
Yes, exactly.
They wouldn't trade. They got so much for Russell Wilson, and they wouldn't trade Geno Smith straight up for Russell Wilson right now.
Yeah. Kudos to Brian for winning. There you go. We'll show.
But you said that you're not a Russell Wilson fan, and you say you're wrong. Are you wrong?
I mean, I was never a fan of him on Seattle, and my big thing was I was in high school. I was like, 16 years old, watching the whole 12 thing with Seattle, and I was like, this is the biggest garbage team where everybody wants a participation trophy. And it was like the Marshawn Lynch time, which I loved Marshawn Lynch, but I always didn't like Pete Carroll, and I just couldn't vibe with it. It was just not my thing. And I think that's the same year that the Packers blew that playoff game against Seattle. You know what I'm talking about? They had the lead, and then Richard Sherman came up with like a ridiculous interception or a tipped ball or something. And I was literally just like, this is unreal. I just couldn't believe what I was watching, and it just made it so much worse for me. And I was like, I just don't like this team. And I give them credit. I give their fans a lot of credit for being the loudest team in the league, whatever it is, but not everybody gets a participation trophy, and that's how that team makes me feel. Hot take. But
yes, Chris is asking. Yeah, it's only top 4.
Kansas City Stadium is close to the loudest.
Oh yeah, it's getting there for sure. They're so fun to watch, and I was never a fan of like red and yellow jerseys, and lately I've been vibing with it where I'm like, actually looks really nice in the crowd. Like I love college football because I think all of those stadiums look great, but that whole thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm like, this looks very nice. So
Get rid of that turd at quarterback. We'll be fine.
there you go. We have Zach collects against Tylox the Mighty with the 99-99 tie, another tie. So Zach's first tie with Tylox's second. I still don't think Tylox is eliminated from the playoffs with that tie, though. So gets a little wild. Joe Burrow, decent game. Slower paced game for Joe Burrow. I think he's very good at controlling the game with the speed he plays at, to be honest. Nick Chubb is putting up the numbers he should be over who's it? Kareem Hunt. I had Kareem Hunt in another league, and I was loving him at first, and then I was like, hey, he's going to die off, and he did. T. Higgins and Joe Burrow are just hooking it up this year. I think Joe knows that.
It'll
Jamar
change.
Chase. Yeah, that's the thing. I just think he knows Jamar Chase is just in double coverage all the time, so you've just got to spread the ball out a little bit more. One of those kind of deals, you know?
Well,
a guy who
Yeah.
hasn't taken advantage of that of Chase being out is Boyd. I mean, he had a good game a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago, but he gets lost a little bit. You know, they don't target him as much.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, no. 100%.
Didn't Cincinnati lose their running back too? Or didn't he get? He's
Joe
out.
Mixon is out,
Mixon,
yeah.
But P.
they're
Ryan
both
has
coming
taken-
back.
I
They're
started
both coming
P. Ryan.
back this week against
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Ooh, big touchdown, Patriots, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
to
nice.
some turd.
Who is that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Jones,
Yeah,
something Jones.
Jones, yeah.
They got a turnover.
Other than that, not much to look at on Zach's team. He did leave the winning points on the bench, but who would play Kirk Cousins over Joe Burrow? That makes zero sense to me.
Not wrong.
Tylox
say-
puts in. Go ahead.
But I'm sorry, but you say that makes no sense. But no, Joe Burrow, now he did well, obviously,
Yeah,
but he was playing Tennessee. Tennessee still has a top 10 defense.
of course. Yeah, true.
I mean, Kirk Cousins has been very consistent this year. Amazingly enough, he's not lighting the world on fire,
Yeah,
but he does have Justin Jefferson.
yeah.
And when you have a star receiver like that, it's almost you got to start him.
Yeah. Who do you
What a
guys
luck.
think is the better receiver this year overall, Jefferson or Jamar Chase with their careers?
Crickets.
It's a tough.
That's tough. Man. That's
No,
tough.
I know. It's weird because
Tyreek
I feel
Hill.
like I hate you. I hate you so much. I feel like with a certain aspect of the game, though, like Jamar Chase just isn't handling the big pressure right now well, and Justin Jefferson is. So I think I'm going towards Justin Jefferson, to be
I
honest.
think Jefferson's the superstar.
Mhm.
I believe that when you're talking fantasy production, if you're talking fantasy production, I think Jamar Chase is the more reliable.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson has laid some goose eggs this year.
Mhm.
And when you talk about weeks like under 10 points, and honestly, for a guy, Justin Jefferson is the number one pick in our league. And so is Jamar Chase. You can't take under 10 points on your number one pick.
Yeah.
You can't. So, like, I believe in that regard. But I also think that Jamar Chase has the better quarterback. The Vikings have the better running back. Yeah, that's a tough one, but they're both really good.
Yeah. No.
I'll say that.
Yeah, it's hard. It'd be nice to have either one of them in a top 10 running back on your team. Tylox rolling with Jalen Hurts. The guy is just unreal. The Eagles are for real, if you're asking me, which sucks with
Where
them
is
being
he
the Giants.
ranked? He's
Tylox?
top 3. No, I'm talking about
Oh, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts,
Scoring wise, he's 3 in the league.
Wow.
So you got Mahomes, Josh Allen, then Hurts.
Wow. It's amazing. Zeke put up big numbers like we were talking about, scored and just chewed up the Giants. Terry
about
McLaurin had
Kamara?
one of the – say that again?
Alvin Kamara. Alvin
Yeah.
Kamara is disappearing this year, man. This year. I mean, he's had a couple of good games, but I mean that last year that guy was you could count him for 20 every week.
Yeah, it's wild. He would have like some 40-point fantasy weeks, and you're just like, what the hell?
Well, I mean, the New Orleans offense as a whole has not
Yep.
really done much this year.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, I think, too. I agree. But
I
it's
don't-
weird
I don't
because, like, what do you do if
understand-
you're the Saints? Like, is Jameis Winston really going to come in and save the day for the Saints?
Yes.
Okay. I don't hate it.
I think you got to shake it up at this point. I mean, whether you
1,000%.
whether you believe it or not, you got to shake things up at this point and see. I mean, he'll make more mistakes, but he's probably going to make more big plays too.
Mm-hmm.
That would certainly help with Olave too.
I don't. I believe he's not going to make as many mistakes. Last year, before he got hurt, man, that team was rolling. They had one loss. Now he didn't put up the best numbers, like value numbers, but he didn't turn the ball over, and they still won because that defense is suffocating at times. Yeah. So, but like their geek Roscoe said it, like Kamara's the only injuries, and I think Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw to the running back as much as he should.
Yeah.
When your running back's Alvin Kamara.
Right, exactly. If you get Alvin Kamara on a screen, you give him one block and the guy can just break a tackle and get past everybody. He's one of my favorite football players, I think, of all time, with just how explosive and electric he is. It just wasn't his week. He said, Zeke, DJ Moore on the bench. Do we agree or disagree with DJ Moore on the bench? I 100% agree. I benched him in another league and lost by like 18 points. I would have won if I played him. Agree or disagree, keep him on the bench.
It's hard to roll with him when they're switching quarterbacks every week.
Yep.
I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I probably would not have started him over some of the other people he played.
Yep. Agreed.
I mean, what's going to happen is he'll start him next week and he won't do any, well. They got
no points.
Yep.
But he won't do anything his next start.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you kind of just have to pick your poison at that point, and it sucks to be in that position, but we're all in it as fantasy owners, But
it's hard to, you start to overthink things sometimes, and it's tough to, you can make some bad decisions in fantasy overthinking things.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, like picking up Mike White this week. He had a great week last week. He's going to be a bust this week. So
yeah,
I'm rolling with him though against you, Brian. I picked him up and I'm starting him.
Nice.
Actually, I'm a little worried because he could put up some numbers against the Vikings.
Well, Murray's out for me this week.
Yeah, he's got the bye week, right?
And I have Dalton on my bench, so I picked up White.
Smart.
I mean, I've just I've got to gamble at this point. It's like, do I go with Dalton, who's going to consistently get me 12, or go with White and just see what happens?
Yeah, no, he could have a big upside.
Yep. Southpaw Brad jumps into first place. Are you tied for first or standing alone in the West? I don't remember.
I think Beckerman's 7.
So you guys got the same record. You have the tiebreaker though.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah, both 7-4-1.
So Brad beats up on our friend Bearded Comic Bro. Kyler Murray finally back to, they lost, but finally back to something decent, back to what he should be doing, running around a lot and throwing for over 300 yards. I mean, it's nice to see, but it took him a while to get there. Jonathan Taylor doing his thing, scoring, and I never knew Jonathan Taylor to be to get a lot of catches, and honestly, his reception yards are great. It's kind of like a Joseph Adai feeling for me, and that's a good callback to the Colts, I think. So
I think that's Saturday. He knows. He's a horse, man. They have
about your Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keenan Allen back in action, getting a lot of touches, which is nice. Tyler Lockett in that crazy game that went into overtime. Mark Andrews did his thing with 11 points. So Brad's team is one of those teams when you look at from up to down, like I said, especially when you look at my team, great quarterback, awesome running back pairing, great receivers with a lot of touches. Because that's the thing, Keenan Allen, you don't need him to score. He's going to get like 13 targets a game. He's just one of those guys. Big tight end. What was Mark Andrews, like your third pick probably? You probably went Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and Baltimore
Andrews also dropped the touchdown pass.
Oh wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
That you won't see that again. Like he doesn't do that.
I don't really care if I don't see it again. He dropped a touchdown pass.
Lost by one.
Hey, look, I don't really care what you're gonna do in the future. I'm talking about right now. We lost the game. I'm gonna point out every little thing.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Over here for Bearded Comic Bro, Tua doing his thing. I love Tua. I can't say enough. I liked him on Alabama, but I kind of thought he was a gunslinger and wasn't going to do much, and I think he's doing his thing. the other big thing, Garrett Wilson. Brian brought up Mike White. These two guys hooked up the other day.
Wow.
Garrett Wilson had 2 touchdowns for like 170 yards or something like that.
Yeah, that was a really bad weather game too. It
was ugly in New
raining
York.
heavy in that game.
Yeah.
Did you guys see? I can't remember if it was Elijah Moore's touchdown or Garrett Wilson's second touchdown, but the throw that Mike White sent to him, that thing was a rocket.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so y'all ever seen Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula?
Yeah.
Going back here, dating myself. Well, anyway, when he first walks onto the field and he says, Blake, tattoo somebody, he throws the ball. The guy jumps up and he hits him and he like throws him back. That's what it looked like. It looked like the receiver was just going to fly backwards. He threw it that hard in that kind of weather. And the guy caught it and just took it to the house.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
And White seemed so confident. Like you saw that little wink he gave the camera that one time. I mean, he really seemed confident, and he's got nothing to lose. I mean,
right. But Zach Wilson lost his job, right? I mean,
well, Mike White, when Zach Wilson was hurt,
touchdown.
Yes, when Zach Wilson got hurt last year. Wait, that seems like a recurring theme. Maybe the Jets should pick up on that. When Mike White started last year, he almost brought them back from a game where they were getting crushed by, I think it was the Colts, and he almost brought them back. And he connected with everybody. He is he's a good quarterback. I think that's who they should roll with moving forward.
Yeah, I agree.
The problem is you're dealing with front office egos and all that and politics. You know, like we invested so much money in this guy. We don't want to prove that. I mean, to the detriment of the team. You know, that's where front offices.
They're not gonna go to the detriment of the team when the team is winning.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's hard to justify a switch at this point.
Yeah.
How is it?
I think what we were saying earlier about Russell Wilson and his teammates. I think Zach Wilson's the same thing. He's lost. There's a lot of the Jets teammates that don't have confidence in him.
So
well,
they did
so much. I mean, interviewed in the locker room, and they were, you know, saying the offense was trash and all.
Yeah.
I mean, just crazy. You know, to be so vocal. They are not keeping it in house for sure.
The Jets had 2 yards of offense in the second half against the Patriots. 2.
Oh, that's right.
2 offensive yards.
Yeah. Well, the problem was he didn't take any ownership of that.
With Mike White.
Averaging 24 points in fantasy football this year. Just crazy. Just as 1 week. It's crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to have to, with Diggs putting up numbers like this tonight, I'm going to have to hope he has another game.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Diggs is like Jefferson and Jamar Chase. He's just and Jake Keenan Allen. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to get like 13 targets a game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Bearded clearly missing Cooper Kupp. I mean, I think the Rams are missing Cooper Kupp because they just look terrible.
Matt Stafford's out too.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't having a good season to start anyways, but there was nowhere that Bearded was making up the points on the bench, you know.
Aaron Donald's out this week too.
Oh, wow. Who are they playing? The Rams, do you know?
I don't remember.
Rams have
wasn't it Rams
Seattle.
Chiefs? Oh, Seattle.
Seattle.
Okay.
They're going to lose to Seattle. And Geno Smith. Nice thing about Bearded Comic Bro, real quick. The trade that I made with him, I said, hey, I have Tua and I have Lamar Jackson. I want to deal one of them. Mm-hmm. And I was like, which one do you want? He's like, Tua. I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I need a receiver. He's like, how about Amari Cooper? I can't give up Kupp because he's the only one that actually puts up points on my team. The very next week, he got hurt.
Wow.
And he traded me Amari Cooper.
Wow. Well, if he would have traded him to you, he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
I ain't saying that. No, he still would have got hurt. It just sucks that happened that way for him because he traded away Amari Cooper.
Yeah. On to the next. And we have the highest scoring matchups of the week between Beckerman and Geek Out with Roscoe. Tough way to lose, but
poor Roscoe, man, 129 points in the loss.
Losing, yeah, but I feel like it's better to be beat by 19 by somebody who really, really beat you than like score 129 and lose by 1 or 2. I don't know. That's just my take on it. But going to Roscoe's team, Justin Herbert balled out. I think that was a comeback win against Arizona, if I remember correctly. And I think that was another 2-point conversion, right, to win the game, or am I nuts?
I don't remember on that one.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they went late to win it.
Rachaad White has completely taken over for Leonard Fournette. I don't know what's going on there, but he seems
Fournette
to be doing
was
his
hurt,
thing.
but it'll be interesting to see moving forward.
Yeah,
because he looks good.
Yeah, it probably comes down to Tom Brady's decision, to be fair. Michael Pittman had a good week. I think he scored 1 touchdown, had 100+ yards. Travis Kelce did his thing. It's funny because weeks ago, Roscoe offered me a trade. He wanted to give me Devin Duvernay, Rachaad White, and I think somebody else. And I backed out of it. I probably shouldn't have. I was like so close to pulling the trigger, but I didn't. I don't remember who he wanted. Kenyon Drake. Like, it would have made sense, and I just couldn't do it. And that's the second poor decision I made with trades this year.
So whatever you're thinking about trades, start doing the opposite.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm the opposite of what everybody else has to do. Samaje Perine came in and took over for Cincinnati, took over for Joe Mixon. It was a nice change of pace. That's what's nice when you have that, kind of like Alan stated with the Ravens. Like, you need that trifecta in the backfield, and I didn't know that Perine could do what he did, and he played very well with the team. He seemed like the starter, and that's the way to do it. I mean, I don't think there's a better way to be a backup. On to Beckerman's team. It's crazy when you see Justin Herbert with 27 points and Jimmy G with 12. But as we go down the list, you'll see what went on. James Conner scored. I think he rushed for over 100 yards. Justin Jefferson, I think, had 2 touchdowns on Thanksgiving. Chris Godwin had 2 touchdowns for the Bucs in their loss against the Browns. It's crazy to see like the rosters because Christian McCaffrey had a light week. And it's weird because San Fran only won 13-0, which obviously when Jimmy G doesn't throw the ball or throw a touchdown, they win. But to not have Christian McCaffrey involved is a little wild. I guess like
go with the run to just maintain the drive and get and run and in the game basically.
Exactly, I agree. It's wild. Kickers had a lot of points this week. 15 for Nick Folk, 14 for Harrison Butker. I had Graham Gano. He had 11. A few of the matchups we've looked at, the kickers have had a lot of points. I'm in a league where we eliminated kickers and used a second flex, and I wish we didn't because we're 12 or 14, and there's just no waiver wire. So next year we already agreed we'll reincorporate the kicker and take out the second flex because that's absurd.
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine that. That's probably another 12, 14 players off the free agent.
It's insane. Yeah. Back to what Brian had asked before in the chat, Zay Jones had 27 points on the bench. Again, in the comeback victory, I mean, that was one of the things like I just happened to be the guy who was throwing a touchdown or 2 on the way down the field. Russell Wilson on the bench, 7 points. Who did he start instead? Jimmy G. Bold move. I like it, though, in all honesty. But like I said, I'm the anomaly. I am just not a Russell Wilson guy. I don't know how you guys feel about Jimmy G over Russell Wilson, but
all day, every day.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Alan Lazard losing his job to Christian Watson, right? Supposed to be Aaron Rodgers' #1 guy. And just
don't get hurt.
Yeah. That's right. He's like still fighting off an injury, kind of. Justin Fields had 0. Who started for Chicago again? Who was it? Trevor Siemian, right?
Yeah.
I had faith in that, and I guess I was just wrong. I don't know. I expected better, and I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't play well.
No, but Beckerman in second place behind Brad in the West Division, but holding a playoff spot. I think we have 2 more matchups, then we'll get into the standings, and we'll get you guys out of here. Brian, 134 points. Another team that just blasts 100+ points a week over Chris the Comic Vent, knocking him into 3rd in the West. Scary to think you're only 4th, Brian. I mean, we got to look at the records after and see how far out you are because getting a little wild.
Yeah, I need 2 wins. I have to win, and then because 2 teams ahead of me have 8 wins already. So
gotcha. Looking at the quarterbacks, I lost the fantasy league by like 3 points when Aaron Rodgers went out. I was freaking pissed, but it is what it is. So don't know what else to do about it. When somebody gets hurt, they just get hurt. Josh Allen with a nice comeback drive on Thanksgiving in the 4th quarter, the final drive. it was sad because Jared Goff led the lines down the field and they scored, and I feel like the crowd was going nuts. And then I looked over at my cousin and we were just like, "Yeah, they're about to lose with like 40 seconds left," and they did. But what are you gonna do?
Too much time.
Yeah, Brian with his nice running back package. Aaron Jones just continues to average like 15 points in fantasy football. We talked about Josh Jacobs. What did he have? He had 3 rushing touchdowns. He had like 300 plus yards, I think, right, in rushing.
Yeah. I mean, he had like an 80-yard or 79-yard touchdown in overtime.
Yeah,
He had some catches out of the backfield too, so he was just piling on.
yeah.
He had 300 scrimmage yards. Yeah.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Stephon Diggs doing his thing. I saw the video today. I saw a video on Thanksgiving. He brought some kid down to the field and he threw a ball off him for a little bit. I think that's so freaking cool. It doesn't get better than that. And then I saw he was like sitting with Josh Allen during stretching and was saying like everybody should be thankful for being here. And then he got really emotional, and it just makes him like one of like my favorite players on a team that I don't really care for. But I don't know. That's just the kind of stuff you want to see. Ramondre Stevenson, another big name coming up. Then he's officially the starter, right, for the Patriots, I would say, for the running back duo.
Yeah, Harris is out this week. He's not playing in his game.
Yeah, I just don't see it with him. I always used to like him. James White used to be my guy. I would always draft James White, but I mean, it's just not the same anymore. But the Patriots are just totally different when you look around at them. You know, it's crazy.
They said Stevenson is second in yards after contact next to Josh Jacobs. I believe they said that in the game on this game.
Wow, that's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy to like be next to that name when you look at Ramondre Stevenson, and there are probably a few people who don't even know who he is.
Well, the crazy thing about Jacobs too is the Raiders have not really played very well. So, but he's still getting touches.
Mm-hmm.
He's catching balls out of the backfield. So.
Are we doing 6 teams in the playoff next year? I think it's a talk we can all have. I think we'd have to come in backstage in StreamYard and yell it out, but hey.
Yeah, I think we're going to look at a few things, right? Maybe going to 6 teams. We want to definitely look at the ties for the tiebreaker during regular season. So we're definitely making some changes.
If we did decimals for points, we wouldn't have ties.
True. Yeah. But I don't know. I like the way it's going. I think for me personally, I adapted to it. I got used to it. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but
I did too.
Yeah, it's just a different style from what I'm used to, and that's good. What'd you say, Alan? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I like the point system. It's just, but the ties are. I don't like ties in anything, and I mean, it's just like kissing your sister. It's not. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to do that. And so it's just But I mean, it has its. I mean, you can see how it's when we look at the standings. You'll see how it does affect the standings.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how.
To have 4 ties in one season is kind of.
Yeah.
I don't ever recall a league having that many ties.
No, 100%. But it's funny. Like I think it's funny that we laugh about it. And we're like, oh, great, another tie. Like I don't hate it.
It's
like
weird.
Next year, watch. We're gonna miss the ties next year. Somebody's gonna be like, shit, I lost by 0.5. I wish we still had ties.
I've lost by 0.02 before.
The bots are here.
Bots are here. Oh God, get rid of those.
Nice.
Oh, hey, there we go.
We're official now. The bots are here.
The bots are here.
I got a vote on the hunt by one of the bots.
That's interesting. Roscoe said he had to leave, and then the bots showed up.
Strange. Roscoe XXX69.
I think not.
Brian's team is another one of those teams. I think that you look at the bench and Chase Claypool, Brendan Cooks, always guys that you could expect yards from. John, same thing here. Just a decent amount of points on the bench that like my team could use. As crazy as that sounds, when I have people like Kenyon Drake as my starting running backs,
Yeah, and that's the problem. Sometimes I'm overthinking who I should start. And there's been a few times this year where I've left points on the bench, and then, but.
Well, if you could overthink it this week, I'd appreciate it.
Smooth. And what do we have? One more, Will's team. I know Will won. Yes, Will beat up on Cardboard Crazies. Excuse me.
I want the ball to him.
Who you throw it to? Is it Diggs
McKenzie.
again? Oh. All right, so let's dive into this. Tom Brady had a decent week again. Tom Brady's been looking better since the divorce papers were signed. Travis Etienne, he got hurt, man, and that sucked. He had 3 yards when he went out. I was pissed.
I
was
have him
saying
on
it-
my team too. On my team
Yep.
in another league. I
Yeah,
was very upset.
yeah. Kareem Hunt, like I was saying, kind of I had a vibe he was going to get knocked around and then lose his spot, and he did. Cortland Sutton did his thing. Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, very odd seasons with Russell Wilson back there. I have to say, you never know which one is going to catch the ball more because it doesn't matter because Russell Wilson doesn't throw touchdowns. So Kyle Pitts with 0. Was he hurt?
Yep.
He's
Anyone-
on IR now.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez. Wow. Will with the win. Dak Prescott. Miles Sanders had a big game on Sunday night. Crazy game. That Green Bay game versus the Eagles game. The first quarter ended like 17-14. I was like, what the hell?
Now,
DK Metcalf.
Nick,
Was
didn't you tie Cardboard Crazies?
I was like
You
plus.
didn't start a quarterback and a running back, and you tied. I was
Yeah.
like, that's some bad luck.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. That's the week that we didn't do that was the week of Thanksgiving, so we didn't do the recap.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams in the flex. Weird to see, but hey, I get it. With 14 points, coming down to Cardboard Crazies. Ross St. Brown. Weird having him out. Weird flex, but hey, everyone goes with their own thing. A couple weeks ago, he was hurt, and then he had a few slower
I think
weeks
he's been rolling with this lineup for a while though, since he had a baby.
since he had the baby.
I think
Yeah,
the baby's overtaking the time for fantasy football.
Totally
And
fair, yeah.
basically, he wrote this season off.
totally fair. Looking at Will, Christian Olave over Christian Watson. Dude, I don't know. I'm rolling with Christian Watson in the league all day. I think that guy is just something special, but
He's
I
done
guess-
it. He's done it 3 or 4 weeks in a row where he's put up
yeah.
at least 19.
Yeah, it's scary. I think Aaron Rodgers is literally talking to him in the back, and he's like, "Listen, I'm throwing you the ball a lot, and you got to catch it." And because they showed they showed a stat when he had that first big game a couple of weeks ago where he scored 3 touchdowns, and they were like, "Oh, look at this play from early in the season," and it was a drop touchdown, and like you saw, Rodgers was just pissed, which doesn't shock me, but hey, and then it's like, oh, Christian Watson has been working on his hands, and that's good to see. For all of you Geno Smith people, Roscoe and Chris, the comic vet, riding the bench with 19 points, over 14 points with Dak Prescott. I don't know who I would have rolled with, to be honest. I like Dak over the Giants. I kind of had faith that the Cowboys would win because I just felt the Giants wouldn't play well, but I don't know. To each their own, But Will comes into 5th. Will is in Brian's shoes. He needs to win outright, I think, to make the playoffs, which we're going to dive into. This should get interesting.
We've just
So-
been beating the crap out of each other all year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 500 teams that are vying for slots right now.
Yeah. So these are the East and West standings. So top 4 teams make it. It doesn't matter what division you're in, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So Cole and Trev at the top. Trev finally took a loss. I think he was on like a 3 or 4 game winning streak. Roscoe took the loss, which hurt from Beckerman. Brian with the win. So as you can see, they're tied. So it shows your percentage chance of making the playoffs, which is scary. I don't know what it is about Brian's being at 9% and Roscoe's being at 15. Maybe it's because he's got to fit Southpaw Brad, who's at a 65% chance, which, I mean, our division is just a little bit different. I feel like we're a little bit closer than these guys, or nobody's here in 7-4. There's 2 games back. I'm eliminated.
Chris being at 7-5 is really bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just running. You got a great team and running up against a buzzsaw that week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where our playoffs stand. So if it ended today, you would have Cole versus Beckerman. I'm going to guess it's 1 versus 4, and Brad versus Trev. Again, if you didn't know, these are our real names. But Brad, you're versing Brian, we said, right?
Yes.
Let's go into the scoreboard for what's to come. So me and Zach are out. Our matchup is pointless. Alan is out. Bearded can win out and make it. So Alan could be the spoiler, which is pretty cool.
I will be.
I like it. Ooh, 10-0. There you go, Brian.
On me. Yeah.
See, Brian could spoil Brad, which is crazy. We'll look at who you're versing next week, Brad. Chris, the comic vet, along with Josh Allen, doing his thing, beating up on Cole. This could also flip it. These guys could end up with the same record after this week.
There's some big games this week.
Yeah. And Trevin Will, like I said, is in the same boat as Brian. Let's go back to the standings. Where did Tylock sit?
Good, you dropped that. Good. Now throw it to Diggs.
Tylock sitting 6th with that tie.
Or not.
I think it's crazy. Like, it's so wild to look at how it makes the 4 team exciting. Like, next year, watch, it's another thing we'll be like, I wish we played 4 teams. But who dropped it?
No.
Tylock's put together a good team who, considering he hasn't played before, he's into it.
Yeah. I like that so here's the thing I like about our league a lot, and I can say this about this league, and there's one league I'm in that I can not say it about, is that everybody's making the effort, isn't everybody's involved. Like, I love to see that, like, making moves, adding, dropping players. It's something you need in fantasy football. Like, I dropped Daniel Jones however long ago, and Allen picked him up. Like, that's the kind of stuff like I want to see. I don't want to see everyone standing still. Chris has the excuse with the kid, like, totally understandable, but for me, it's like I should have made more moves. Actually, I should have made one less move, and I should have kept Tyreek Hill probably. But like, when you look over here, we have literally the moves. Brad, you have 34 moves this year in fantasy football. I don't know if those are ads, drops, trades, whatever it is. Beckerman with 44. I mean, obviously he's made the change and he's gotten 3 wins in a row. Roscoe with 34. Chris only has the 1. Zach has 7. I only have 14. Alan, you have 31. That's a lot. Brian, where are you at? You have
10.
Brian with 10, keeping it down, man. You like your draft?
Wow, Becker's got 44.
Yeah, 44 is so many. But hey, to each their own.
It works though. I mean, he's made some pretty big after being disappointed in with his quarterback selection or lack thereof when we drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Not getting Mahomes, he's made some good moves and gotten right back in it.
Yep. Yeah. You know what it was? He went to that Chiefs game, made his first Instagram ever, and that picture he was so happy in, and that changed it for him. Love to see it.
That I wish the Chiefs would have lost.
But
that would have been great.
I have a 0% chance. I'm with you, Alan. I forgot we're actually numerically eliminated. Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
Next year will be my year, guys. I can feel it.
No, it won't.
No, it won't.
Alan's going to call it again.
No. I know it won't because he doesn't get to make his own first-round pick next year.
That's right. I forgot about that. You'll set me up with something good, though. I have faith.
No, we won't.
So next year's draft is randomized again, right? Like, it doesn't matter who comes in last, gets the first pick, right? It's just random.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
It's randomized an hour before. It doesn't.
I mean,
that's so you're going to take the champion from this year, and they could possibly have the number 1 pick.
Well, we're not doing keepers, so I'm okay with it.
Doesn't matter if you're a keeper or not. You're still in the league. Like, you won the league.
Well, you just get his first round pick.
No, I don't get his
pick.
pick.
We changed that. Yeah, we changed
that.
We get to pick each other's picks.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, no, yeah. I get to tell him who he has to pick because there's no way Waddle is going to score more fantasy points than Tyreek Hill now.
What is the score at? Do you know off the top of your head?
You can give me 2 seconds and I'll tell you.
I'm going to try and look.
I always
they're not
looking
talking about Waddle scoring 2,000 rushing or receiving yards. So, and they are.
Tyreek's got 231. Waddle's got 180.
It got bigger.
It's only minus 50. I'm in a good spot.
50 points, dude.
Are we going through the playoffs?
No.
All right. So I have 2 weeks to score plus.
We should have established more rules on this thing. Yeah, but yeah, it should be regular season. I would agree with that.
All right. Listen, if it makes you feel better, Alan, the Comic Vet is out of a playoff spot right now, so the trade meant nothing. I'm sorry if you're listening, Chris. I had to say that.
Chris can do a lot for himself tonight.
He could.
Yeah.
A lot can
It's
change.
nice when you can root for your home team, especially in like fantasy and stuff.
Well, I think he planned it that way.
Yeah.
Smart, yeah.
The defense, the kicker,
Yeah.
Brad, who is your team again? Who do you like?
The Miami Dolphins.
You're a Dolphins guy? Okay. I love it.
Yeah, got to see them a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that week, you were at the Dolphins game. I was at the Giants game.
That's right.
I think Will was at the Raiders game.
Yeah.
That's right.
The same Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. He went to Vegas. Yeah.
That's cool.
You went to a great Giants game, Brian. I mean, I couldn't have picked it. You couldn't have picked a better game to go to this year.
Yeah, Texans and the weather, because right after that the weather turned,
Right.
so it was like it wasn't too cold. It was manageable, and we got to see him win. So yeah,
Nice.
we did it right.
Nice. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add about fantasy football?
What's the biggest surprise on y'all's team? Your fantasy team.
That we currently have.
Yeah.
I think Najee Harris for me, but on the downside, I think I expected more, especially with the quarterback trouble. I think I just expected him to get the ball more and be more productive like he was last year. So mine's a negative, unfortunately, but because I think that was my first, I'm pretty positive he was my first pick. I had him last year and loved him, and this year it just didn't pay out. I think he loses a lot of draft spots going into next year. Goes like third round instead of first or second. I don't know.
I'm gonna say the same thing on the downside, and that's Derrick Henry. And I know he's top 5 in fantasy points, but let's get real. That most of those points happened in the last 6 to 7 weeks. The first 2 to 3 weeks,
Yeah,
the
he was
reason I
off to a
started,
slow start.
so,
Yeah,
like he wasn't even breaking 10 points, and he was a number 1 pick. And I'm like, dude, you're Derrick freaking Henry. Come on.
Yeah, how many 30-point games did he have last year?
Right.
mean, yeah.
yeah. He had that crazy game last year when they went into overtime where he had like 3 touchdowns. He had a big like a long run, like a 60-yard run.
Yep. He usually has like a 98-yard touchdown every year, usually against Jacksonville, who they played twice, and this year he just didn't do it.
Yet.
Mine's
Jonathan. I've got a disappointment on my team too. Rodgers just has not.
Yeah.
I didn't draft him high, but
right.
he's been not as consistent as he has been in previous years. So
yep.
And mine's totally Jonathan Taylor. It's same thing with Derrick Henry. It took him too long to get going. He's probably I think he's about the 33rd ranked fantasy running back right now.
Yep.
And it's just taking him too long to get going. And he's another guy that you could count. I mean, 25 points a game. You just about count on it.
Yep. Yeah, it's sad because it's almost like remember when they used to talk about the Madden curse? Like if you were on the cover of Madden, you'd get hurt. Now they have it's like the first pick overall curse, and Jonathan Taylor, it's like he knew he was going first in every league, and it sucks. But it's sad we all had negatives. But
well, that's what we're to focus on, I guess. It's
such a good question for us to all just be like, no.
Yeah.
So I will say, I will impart this wisdom on many people out there that are in a league of the same size that we're in, and it's a PPR league, points per reception. Take a receiver in the first round. Unless you take Austin Eckler. He's the only one. Unless you take Austin Eckler, take a receiver in the first round.
Yeah.
Catches matter.
Yeah.
So well, yeah, I mean, because you would think because that logic would tell you that Kamara would be the very high running back.
Right, and that lowers Derrick Henry a lot. He just does not catch the ball,
And it's funny to see him and Jonathan Taylor catching the ball now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he caught a 60-yard screen pass and fumbled at the 3.
The things
I watched it happen. I almost started crying.
How did you not punch the TV?
Yeah, because he was watching the Ravens before that and punched the TV.
I was like, I mean, you see Derrick Henry get like that when he's going and he gets in that stride. You're like, yeah, that's a touchdown. Yeah, and then all of a sudden the ball's laying in the end zone and some rookie wide receiver jumps on it. I'm like, man.
Yeah. He just does not fumble the ball that much.
No.
That's insane.
Well, the guy, to the corner's credit, that still ran him down. I mean, he didn't give up on the play. He was out of it early, but he didn't give up on it, and he had to fight it out still. I mean, he was in perfect position to punch it, and he punched it. But after punching it, he still had to fight it out of there. It didn't just pop right out. So it's the only positive.
How about on the league, like just in general, the NFL in general, like what are some surprises for you guys? It could be your team. It could be any player, any team.
I'm going to say the 2 surprises that I had, Josh Allen almost threw a pick. Player knocked it out of his own player. The player's hot. But anyway, my surprise was Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. And I know people are like, what are you talking about? Those are all caliber wide receivers. Devontae Adams left a future Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers and went to Derek Carr and the Raiders, who had a brand new offensive coordinator, brand new head coach. I did not expect him to put up the numbers he did. Yeah. Tyreek Hill left Patrick Mahomes, who arguably a future Hall of Famer, and that offense and Andy Reid's great offensive mind, and went to Miami. No slouch, no knock towards Miami, but brand new offensive coordinator, brand new head coach, and a quarterback that's still on his rookie contract and who has had issues and up and down issues there and a rough go of it. Mm-hmm. So them putting up those points, continuing to put up the points that they are, proves to me that they made their quarterbacks better. Their quarterbacks didn't make them better.
Yeah.
So in both instances, it's like you got to have somebody good getting you the ball, but you also it tells you what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
And I think in Miami's case, Tua, if you see him interact with McDaniel, the head coach, Mike McDaniel, they have a great relationship.
Yep.
And you can tell the system is geared for him.
You see, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted with Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones just seems like that shy kid who just can't figure it out and won't put his foot down, where Tua goes over there and we'll have a conversation with him and they'll be on the same page, kind of like boosting each other's confidence. Where Daniel Jones, it's like Brian Daboll can probably say anything he wants to try and boost that kid's confidence, and he's just not going to get better. The Giants are my honest surprise for the year. I expected the Giants to go like 4-13, to be honest. But I love what they're doing, and they're exciting to watch. I still love watching Saquon. Hopefully he's back next year, but that's my pick is the Giants.
I was going to say the East, just the whole NFC East has been a surprise.
Yeah, my other one is Taylor Heineke.
NFC Beast. It's just called what it is.
You have all four teams in playoff position right now, basically.
Yep.
But there's plenty of division games that still need to happen, so they're going to knock each other around.
Yeah, the Giants have 3 more divisional games to close out the year. I don't know if anybody has more than that, to be honest.
Giants have 4.
Right. So we have to play the Eagles twice.
I
forgot we have the Eagles twice. Yeah.
Ravens got the Ravens have the Steelers twice, and then they got Cleveland and Cincinnati in the last game of the season.
Wow. That's a wild end. See, the Giants play. We don't end the season with a divisional game, I think, right?
Let me check. I thought it might be the Eagles. The end of the season.
End?
Yeah, the
Ravens. I remember last year the week 7.
There's 6 games left, and the Ravens got 4 division games, just like the Giants.
Wow. Oh, the Giants do close with the Eagles. You're right. Yeah.
And the Eagles are probably my surprise, just seeing how they're a very complete team, very good defense. And Jalen Hurts, they keep knocking the guy, and he keeps making it happen.
Yeah.
And I root for him. He seems like a good guy.
As much as I hate Alabama, I despise that school, but Tua and Hurts both came from Alabama. Those guys, they found them right there. Those 2 guys are going to be here for a minute.
Yeah. When Tua replaced Jalen Hurts in that championship game, I never expected Jalen Hurts to recover, and then he went to Oklahoma and just tore it up.
Almost won Heisman.
Yeah.
But Jalen Hurts, but the very next year, Jalen Hurts had to come in and replace Tua and win a game.
Yeah.
So, you got 2 very class guys, and Tua is, he's listened to every single Miami fan, almost every single Miami fan saying that they should have took Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, I think it would be really, really scary for the whole NFL if Justin Herbert was on Miami right now. Very scary.
Yep.
But, Tua is getting it done. He can throw the ball, and he doesn't turn the ball over. And I think he's more mobile than Justin Herbert.
Yep.
I think that they got the right quarterback. They definitely got the right head coach. I'm so glad that they hired McDonald. I mean, everybody thought that he wasn't going to do that well. I was like, I beg to differ. And especially if he gets the running backs he wants. If he gets the running backs he wants, he's going to tear it up.
Yeah.
And he got Jeff Wilson, and now Jeff Wilson's taken off with that job.
Yeah.
He did really well last week. And it's interesting to see, like, they were mic'd up, and Tua was talking to Mike McDaniel, and he said, Mike McDaniel asked him, he said, do you want it on the left hash or the right hash? And Tua put his arm around him and said, Coach, I want to put it on whatever hash you think will score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's interesting to get a glimpse inside, to see that relationship.
Yep.
And they seem to, he's just, well, he called him when he got hired, he called him on the plane and said, you're my guy. He told him, called him and just started building him back up, because I mean, it's hard to go through a season. I mean, we could have been starting Deshaun Watson this week. I mean, that's Brian Flores wanted that to happen.
Yep.
He wanted to make that happen. And who knows where we'd have been, and who knows if we'd have made the deals that we made. We might not have Tyreek right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some talk of Watson in New York at one point too.
Yeah.
I think when you have a quarterback like that, well, let's just say that has the capabilities or had the capabilities. I mean, he's been all out of football for almost 2 years now. Le'Veon Bell was out of football for 1 year and was a shell of himself. Deshaun Watson's almost 2 years out of the NFL. This is why I think they messed up giving him a guaranteed contract, because if he comes in and totally stinks it up and they're like, well, crap, we were winning with just Jacoby Brissett. What happened? I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but I mean, it could. It very well
Alan,
could.
How does that influence you being a Ravens fan and sitting in that same position now where guaranteed money for a guy that, I at the beginning of the year, you weren't sure, and you said he has to take us pretty far to justify it. So what do you think now?
All right. So here's where I'll speak to. All right. I have another league that is a keeper league. I run it. It's a keeper league. I drafted Lamar Jackson when he was a rookie. I took him. He's been on my team ever since, up until this year. I traded him away. Everybody, they thought that was a bad idea. I got a number 1, a number 4, and a number 7 for him. The reason I traded him, and I went into this season knowing I was going to trade Lamar Jackson. I was going to trade him. Because I feel that he is going to get Kirk Cousins. I believe they are going to franchise tag him, especially if he wins a Super Bowl, he's going to get the money. If the Ravens win the Super Bowl, he's going to get the money, easily done, over with. If they don't win the Super Bowl or go to the AFC Championship game, they're going to franchise tag him this year and next. See where the team is at that point, and see who they can draft what quarterback can they pick out of the draft, because there's a lot of mobile quarterbacks coming out, a lot, and a lot of them are progressing to where they're throwing the ball good. I just watched Florida State, Florida last week. Both of those quarterbacks are doing really well. Jordan Travis and Anthony Richardson, I think it is. Yeah, they are doing really well. I mean, it's just, and Bryce Young out of Alabama. And I don't think, the Ravens, you never know. They could flop the rest of the season, lose 6 straight and go 7 and have a top 10 pick. I mean, you never know. But I think that they're going to franchise tag him. I do not see them spending the money. I mean, they didn't even want to spend the money on Joe Flacco, and Flacco was the prototypical quarterback they wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted Joe Flacco. They wanted that type of quarterback in Baltimore. And they didn't even sign him until he won a Super Bowl.
The former Delaware Blue Hen, Joe Flacco.
Hey, man, you can say what you want, but he's still tied for the most road wins in the playoffs in NFL history.
It's crazy.
With one other quarterback. Do y'all know who it is?
Is it Eli Manning?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Had a vibe.
I wonder what Lamar's response to franchise tag is going to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead and sit out, man. That's
Yeah.
fine. Go sit
Well,
out. I don't, the Ravens lose nothing if he does not sign it and he sits out because he doesn't get paid.
Right.
And that's just another year that they can tag him.
Yeah.
And at that point, the Ravens aren't losing any money. All they're doing is restricting him from playing football.
Yeah,
Right.
somewhere else. Yeah.
And
And
I understand that could
his
be
mom's his agent. So you
I know.
got
Him and his
Ocean.
mom work together as an agent. And actually, I kind of like it because I think agents are scum.
Yep.
But that's just they're feeding off the talent of all these young players coming out of college, and so are their managers. It's but I just think if he doesn't play, he doesn't play. And I understand that might sound bad considering you're treating that guy like that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, this is a business too. And they got to do what they need to do to win.
Yep.
And if he's not winning, if the team's not winning, your quarterback's one of the first. It's the head coach, then it's the quarterback. I mean, there's already talk in Baltimore of Greg Roman losing his job.
Wow.
The last time the Ravens fired an offensive coordinator in season, they went to the Super Bowl.
Wow. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. That's where I know that was long. I'm sorry, Brad.
No, it's great. No, it's good stuff.
I
Long, but
wanted to see if your stance had changed or
no. I mean, I just I drafted him in this league because I thought he would run the ball more.
Right.
And get me those rushing yards to help constitute the only 4 points for touchdown. So that's what I was hoping.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Went the other way.
mm-hmm.
I think you got to turn him loose, let him be who he is instead of don't make him a pocket passer and just let him do his thing.
That's the thing. They are. He's the one that wants.
He's just not running.
He's worried about those voices in his head.
Mm.
He's just a running back. He's just a running back. You're not a running back, man. You're a quarterback that can run.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Run. You're faster than everybody else on the field. Go.
Yeah. And you don't have to have plays designed for you to run. Just take off when you feel it, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you look at like Josh Allen, even Daniel Jones this year. His legs have helped the Giants, move chains, first downs, keep drives going.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing because there were a few games where Daniel Jones is just staying in the pocket so far because the Giants have been a second half team, and it just 100% turned on. Oh, what's up, XXX69? Thanks for coming back. it just turned into one of those things where, mid game he'd start moving his feet and they'd start progressing up the field, and it's like, all right, I know you don't want to have to run every play, but it's helping a lot when you scramble, which is one of those teams where the Giants are just becoming a scrambling team, and it works. Some teams are like that, but the Giants also have plays designed where it's just a QB sneak or a quarterback draw right off the gun, and sometimes it works. Last year it worked 2 years ago it worked against the Eagles when he tripped after running 70 yards. It's just scary.
Tripped over his own feet.
That was so bad. That was so bad.
What was bad is he still had enough time to almost get up and still score the touchdown.
Yeah.
That's what bad. He was so far ahead of everybody.
Scary.
I think with Daniel Jones and now Lamar this year is their confidence. For some reason, Daniel Jones just isn't. I'm pretty sure the coach has told him, you're the guy.
Yeah.
Don't listen to everybody else. You're the guy. You're starting. You're the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And Tua, like you said, McDonald called him on the phone, on his way there after he got the job. You're my guy. And that has held true. And it's just when a player has confidence, it's a lot easier for them to just go out and do.
And it helps when people are confident in you,
And honestly, I don't think Daniel Jones is playing with – I've seen many better years than this.
Of course,
This is a bad year out of Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
In my just speaking from a football perspective, I've seen him do better. And I think it's confidence.
Stephon Diggs just caught a touchdown that got called back.
Yeah, I saw that. I was
Lame.
sad. I have Diggs in my other league.
Me too. Alan, what do you have coming up, man? What's coming up on your channel? Anything?
Yeah, we got the Axe video dropping tomorrow.
Yes.
Got another Halls and Calls coming out there. But then in about a week or so, we're going to have another video where we're going to have major changes coming to the channel. So you're just going to have to wait for that. And in that video with the changes, we will be announcing our push for 250, and we'll
Josh
have a
Allen
giveaway
fumbled.
at 250.
Josh Allen fumbled.
Jeez.
Oh, darn.
Brad, what about you, man? What's coming up?
Man, hanging out with you guys is the only YouTube stuff I'm doing right now. I'm
Nice.
focused on work. This real estate market everybody is pumping the brakes.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to stay in front of people and educate them on what's going on with the real estate thing. So, but I do have some stuff off at CGC. So when that
Nice.
I'll be doing a video for that and
Awesome.
hanging out in the chats.
Very cool. Brian, this is a big weekend, right, brother?
Yeah, we got a little event coming up Saturday night,
Yes.
CBC Awards. So yeah, we're gas pedals down for that one.
Awesome.
Hey,
man.
who won?
Go ahead and break it now.
The reason I can do that is because I wasn't nominated, so I don't really care. I mean, I care.
It's interesting. I can tell who's really into it because I keep getting messages from people. Hey, can you send me the link just in case if I win, I can jump on? And so it's interesting. There's some
Just
people
in
that are
case.
very
No,
invested.
go on
Did
anyway.
Comic Tom send you a message is he wanting to get
Yeah,
on
he called me. No.
That's funny. You guys can check out all these channels here and everybody in the league. All the links are in the description down below. Be sure to check them out. Let's push Allen to 250. I'm kind of doing the same thing as Brad, just hanging out. I host this. I'll host this next Thursday if you guys want. The later time just works better for me. My volleyball season is almost over. Tomorrow I'm hanging out on the hunt. I'm actually versing Roscoe. So be sure to check that out on Tony Sanders'
nice.
channel if you can. So
So do you coach volleyball?
no. We play in a co-ed league.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, they put an indoor place. It used to be a skate park, and then it was a trampoline zone, and they broke it down and they just dug everything out and just put tons of sand. There's 8 indoor full-size volleyball courts. So
Wow, sand volley. Ooh,
yeah,
beach
it's wild.
volleyball.
I'm still in my
Okay.
stuff. My pants are covered in sand, just hitting my floor. I have to vacuum tomorrow. So, do you guys have anything else you want to add?
big weekend this week. So looking forward to the recap next week.
Cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. Next week's standing projection is going to be crazy.
Yes.
We'll see who can be in and who can be out.
It's great. We get to sit back and watch now. It sucks not being in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
But
Little weight
Yeah,
off the shoulders.
that Diggs callback touchdown kind of hurt a little.
oh yeah.
Still time, still in the first half. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate you all hopping on. Thank you to the chat for hanging out. I appreciate you guys asking your questions and commenting and everything. We always love to see it. Come back next Thursday and check out the standings, see where we're all at. We'll see who's still smiling. All right. Everybody take care. Stay safe.
Thanks, Nick.